Welcome back to the Retro Reel. Today, we're going to be talking about the movie of the week, Kingdoms of the Planet of the Apes. Yeah, very interesting. So you got Philosoph here in the house, and we got Mo in the house, my co-host.
Yes, you already know.
So let's start by giving feel. What was your feeling right outside the movie theater?
When I left, right?
Yeah. Yes.
I don't know. I'm outside before, and then I'm outside after.
Oh my God.
No, I feel like I felt satisfied. And when I say that, it's also in a just satisfied. It checked all the boxes of my expectations. Again, I always go into with low expectations, or else I would hate everything. So it gave me exactly what I paid for. But at the same time, it's also like if I have no expectations, then I'm fine with it. But there's always, whenever I listen to other people give reviews, I'm like, oh, you know what?
Yeah.
Like, I hate it. And I was saying we're gonna be like it's the greatest movie ever, and then the reviews are like it's the worst movie since 1948, and we're like, do we suck? We must be really bad here. I'm satisfied with satisfactory visuals.
Okay, like the apes look good.
Not saying that it can be better, but it wasn't. There's no something. Oh man, sometimes it's like horrible. I'm like, what the heck is that? What is this? What is this? Yeah. I don't remember seeing any part that was like. I don't know why it just popped up in my head. There's the part where they show you the other humans.
Okay, so before we get,
no, I don't want to get without getting into it. I'm just saying like that's not CGI. That's not.
Yeah. Let's not get too much into it. Yeah.
That's not CGI. That's not anything. It was just like a pack of humans. I don't know if that's what they would look like in the wild, but that's really, really what it is. But as far as like visual, like we're looking at speaking animals, I never felt out of space. I never felt like it was inaccurate. I never felt anything. Mind you, there's technically real animals sharing the scene together. I don't know what you want to call them.
Oh my God. I have things to say about that because a lot of the time I get thrown off. Like I was like, why is this bird not speaking? It's like because it kind of felt like the Jungle Book for a minute. Like, you know what I mean? Like I kept expecting
what animal speaks, or
yeah.
I mean, it's literally like Mickey Mouse having the dog. Does it have a Rotten Tomato yet?
Probably. We can check. Oh shoot! Rotten Tomato has it at 80%.
80%. I think that if you have trilogies or more than a trilogy, if there's like 3, 4, 5 of a series of movies, 3 cannot be better than 1 or the last. That doesn't make any sense. That's a failure. Your third movie, I don't think there's nothing to be proud of. If number 3 or number 2
is number 3,
I don't know what number it is. I'm just giving a random example right now.
This is number 4. Yeah.
They could stop it and nobody's gonna miss it. But the thing is that I think there's more that can be said after. But do you understand what I'm saying? Number 1 and the last should be your best. The ones in the middle, it happens a lot that number 2 or 3 are better, but I'm like, that's a failure.
It happens a lot that the middle one is actually the one that carries the entire trilogy. It's
exactly.
Star Wars and Empire Strike Back is like literally the best movie out of all of them. But my favorite is like Return of the Jedi.
The only time I give an excuse for that is like technology. If technology wasn't there in the first one, and then now you were able to do so much more, I understand like it might be better. But honestly, I'm like, I didn't expect for this one to be the best one. Caesar on a horse, what the heck? I was like, that's crazy. But I have a
thing about the horses.
We have the same thing. But the first one, I was like, I can't believe they made this work with the new technology. I can't believe it. They didn't make it look weird. The first Planet of the Apes.
That's why it was so appreciated, right? Because it was a remake of an old IP. By the way, there's like 4 or 5 movies I didn't know about. I was looking up this morning, and then it's like it started like 1968 was the first one. Then they had one in the 1970, 1971, 1972.
They had movies, they had shows.
Yeah, so it was like a big thing. That's kind of where I'm at with this entire franchise. It doesn't intrigue me enough. And it should, because I think the concept of it allows for so much good storytelling. So my biggest issue with the entire movie was pretty much this. You have literally such a nice canvas to tell such a good story, to tell so many good stories. You have basically humans are going extinct, apes are taking over. What conversation can we have there? What are the conversation can we have about the fact that now part of an animal kingdom that we used to put in a zoo, we used to show for entertainment, now is taking over remnants of humankind. What can we say? And some humans, by the way, are going dumb, pretty much.
They're regressing.
They're regressing because of some virus, right? So what kind of story can you tell me there? I feel like that's probably why there's so many of them already, because you can tell so many stories. You tell the relation.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Because right now you're making me think what they could have done, because they're introducing a new world that we don't know, right? Where the humans
Well, somewhat, because it's like already like 3 movies in. It's the same world we live.
But like where humans have regressed. We hadn't
Yes.
seen that before, right? That's why I say new
Well,
world.
the last movie, humans were not regressing, just that some so some humans were regressing, but humanity was still very kind of strong.
Yeah, so that's what I meant by a new world. It's a new world because the balances have shifted
Completely.
and
Yeah.
and they could have spent more time showing you that world so that we understand a little bit more what's going on, that the contrast first, and then we understand the plot. Here it was just straight plot, and you're like, wait, where are the humans? What happened to them? At the end, of course, they kind of show you that she goes back to what would be a colony of still humans.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
a question. What I'm saying is the idea of telling me something there was not interesting. The story they chose to tell me was not interesting, is what I'm saying. Because you have the possibility, it's like, okay, let's do a study on humankind and their behaviors, right? And let's do a study on the apes, sorry. But are apes really that much better than humans? Because you're trying to tell me throughout the movie that humans are bad. That's what you're trying to tell me throughout the whole movie. They always have some hidden agenda. They always think for themselves. They don't think for like the tribe and stuff like that. And we don't know that because really the human is thinking about all of humankind. The human representing the story, she's thinking about all of humankind. So that means every action she takes towards making sure that humanity doesn't lose this. But then you show me the apes, and then the apes are acting exactly the same, right? Now, within that community of apes, like the eagle tribe, whatever, they're very kind of friendly and very kind of family oriented and very kind of like, support each other, which is exactly what the humans are doing in their own tribe. You're not really telling me a difference between the humans and the monkeys, because all you're saying is like, well, a small group of humans, a small group of apes are able to live peacefully in harmony and don't disturb things. But when you go out there, there's humans and there's apes that are like killing people for no reason, and they're fighting other apes. So it's like, okay, then you want to base it around Caesar, that is their kind of like Moses or Jesus. But then the teaching of Moses and Jesus is completely taken wrong. And there's not even a deep dive in that, because you could have been like, oh, this is what religion means to people. And this is how we've misinterpreted that throughout history, and saying, oh, like we went to war in the name of God or Jesus, whatever. So they have the same thing there, but they don't even really respect it. They don't even really do the study properly. Some guy just say, oh, to Caesar and whatever. And there's not really a study there. Instead, it wants to focus on the human, trying to like make the human look bad, when I don't think the human look bad. Well, I think they were making them do stupid things, but I don't think they were bad. Like, I think, especially when you get to the end, it's like, okay, she's just trying to save humanity here. And she knows that if the apes end up having all that technology, it's over. So yeah,
I think honestly, I hadn't thought about it that far, but after hearing you speak, I think they wanted to show you what they wanted to show you. It feels like they didn't have enough time to express all the other aspects that they could have. But what they showed, I don't think was incorrect or wrong, because the reality is, and there's a lot of parallel with society. I don't think it can be necessarily needs to be the main story, which I think I would even prefer that story. But does it?
I would have preferred that story.
I know I would have preferred that story, but does it need to be every single Planet of the Apes is showing the comparison between humans and the ape? Is it all?
But that's what they've been. But that's what they've been doing. But I feel like they've been doing that loosely. It's like every through line.
All the series are in this movie.
I mean, in this movie, but it's like anytime I remember all the other ones, like that's always the through line. It's like, can ape and man exist? What kind of threat does that pose to humanity if apes starting being intelligent, like as intelligent as us, where they can, not just use tools, make tools, but
I'm going to throw a wrench. Wait, before you say anything, I know I'm throwing a wrench in the whole thought process right now. But I'm like, if they do that, then Planet of the Apes series becomes Avatar, because that is strongly showing you the difference between humans and others, and how humans affect others. Like that is really, really
Yeah,
saying.
but it's about colonizers invading a new land of other intelligent animals. And because they think these animals are lesser than them, and they're trying to colonize us because they need unobtainium, uh, they're just trying to mine it and colonize that world and stuff like that. So you literally have the worst kind of humans going there. And this humanity is regressing to being this kind of dying species,
I think the only thing that is
is what I'm
introduced
trying
here
to
that is
say.
different. The only thing that's introduced here is that virus that makes them do that. It's not a
Yeah.
natural progression.
So
That's the
the
only thing that's
reason that,
different.
yeah, but the reason that we're doing this, okay, so understand also, they were in
Yeah.
the literally, we just created fire stage. We know how to make fire ourselves. And now,
Mhm.
they're talking to, so if that's what you want to kind of pose that question, it's like, okay, but do you realize like the story you could tell is like, what kind of evolutionary steps is being jumped by them accessing technology that was already built by humans? I think there's a better story there than just, oh, girl comes in, girl is like intelligent human, girl survives attacks from apes somehow, and then girl ends up stealing the cassette player for the human tribe, so that and then there's a human tribe that's been actually immune to the disease, to the regression. And so their whole thing is like that chip is the reason why they can communicate with the whole world now. One chip.
I
Like,
mean,
I'm not a scientist. I'm not a like. I'm not
but
saying.
Phil, it's like right now. Let's say we were post-apocalyptic, and then we can find a microphone, and then you're like, what? A microphone? Yes, the microphone becomes gold when we finally find
But
one
they all
because
have
we need.
microphones.
I'm just giving you an
Yo,
example. I'm giving you an example of like a post-apocalyptic world, and like we couldn't find mics. We have all this technology, but we don't have no microphone works. And then we find one basic ass JBL microphone. You're like, oh my god, this is gold. And then somebody's like, fucking microphone? That's it? That's all you needed? Sometimes that's all you needed. Mind you, whatever they found was not as basic. I don't think it's that basic neither.
I think
It's
it's that
basically
basic,
it's
but
how
it's
you run
pretty basic.
satellites. Phil, that's what you need to run satellites. And NASA uses a lot of those things. And let's say they needed a third one, it's like a memory thing.
But all I'm saying is that trope is so annoying in movies. Like the bad guy, they need that like a little freaking jump drive to like kill the world. Oh God, oh stop.
That's
Like
Mission
I
Impossible.
mean,
That's
yeah,
Mission
but that's
Impossible.
all. It's all. It's
All of
all.
Mission Impossible.
It's all
Was
the
get the
Mission.
chip. Get the. Remember back
Always
the,
some
the the floppy
microchip.
disk. The floppy disk. Back in the
The
day, you'd be
floppy
like,
disk,
huh?
it's always, it's like, so we had no backups for like cases like this, emergency like this. We never had this. How many movies have there been where we need a microchip? Can we do 5
Or yeah,
microchips?
we have to
And can
destroy.
we hide
We have
like
to
the other
destroy it.
microchips?
You have to
Oh
destroy
yeah,
the
they have to destroy
recording.
the
They have to
one
destroy the recording,
microchip.
and then I'm like,
That would, like,
they could have copied it somewhere. Like what?
yeah, it's
That
like,
can't be
can
the
we
only
copy?
copy.
And mind you, this is not like an overnight thing. So this didn't happen overnight. We saw the monkeys getting intelligent one at a time, and then humanity regressing one at a time. So
They had time to
the
go. They
plan,
had time
they
to.
had time to go and be like,
They had
okay,
time to
let's
go.
download all these informations. Let's put like a microchip in every great continent, and let's leave so many things for us
Yeah.
to find, then make it a story. My point is, when you have such a nice canvas as a setup, as humans regressing and
Mhm.
apes evolving, can you give me a better story than find a microchip to save mankind?
In that
While
case,
in the
I get it.
meantime, you're trying to tell me humankind is bad because you're trying to tell me the story through the apes, right? Because really the main actor is not the girl. It's really what's his name? I forgot his name. Because it's not Caesar. I wanted to call him Caesar the entire time, but it's not Caesar. Noah.
No.
So Noah is May is the girl. Noah is the name of the Noah's Ark. I don't even know what they were going for there. You know what I mean? I guess it's a good thing for a movie if we're just stuck on like the reasons why certain characters, not the reasons, but like if we can talk about, oh, this idea would be better, or what do you think this idea, because they made that decision, what does that create for like future things? I think it's good, but I think it's also kind of weak that we're talking about find a microchip to save mankind through a story that's not, it's not like apocalypse happened yesterday.
Well, so
Nobody had
basically,
time.
the story is deeper than the plot of this film.
Yeah, the plot is so superficial, is what I'm saying. And then there's like hints of so much of a deeper story. I want to know how the guy, the other human, the other intelligent human that was in the show. I want to know that story more. How the hell did
But that's for you to come back for the next
Proximus?
movie.
How the hell did Proximus find this guy? Why can't I know about this story of how Proximus
Yeah.
became Proximus?
So the prequel to this is better story than this story.
Than the
This
story
this
itself. It's
this
like,
story this story it's in between two movies, and then they refer back to it in dreams. It's like, oh yeah, remember when we had to go find that chip to do this? And then
remember that
it's like, yeah,
girl?
I had,
Remember that girl we
yeah,
found the
yeah.
pit that one
Now
time?
and now
And
now
we had
she's
to like
30.
go and
So this is
and
the
we had to
girl
go
in
find
in her
her.
30s saying, yeah, I had to do this adventure back like whatever a few years ago.
You
But you
can't
can't make a
believe like how
movie.
these apes
Yeah,
looked.
you can't make a movie out of that part. This is a flashback. It should have been a flashback only.
It should have been a flashback. It should have been a flashback. I
And in
don't like the
that sense, I get it. I do get it.
and
But
really it's the girl that's the key to everything.
I think in
It
conclusion,
really is her.
it's a filler movie, and they made it good enough. That's why we expect a little bit more. But they took it from the bottom and they made it good enough. That's why it's where it's at.
I feel like to have such a great concept. No, how Proximus became the leader and basically made this human his yacht is what I want to know. And then you have the story of after or now the humans are regaining power and the apes technically have a flooded hangar, but I mean, let's be real. You could probably salvage a lot of stuff out of that hangar eventually.
It hurt my feelings when I was like, I really thought there was a scene towards the end of the movie. I thought they were gonna go back there. I thought because think about it, if they killed all that tribe, like they're dead, right?
With a waterfall.
It's submerged in water, right? And technically, I don't think that water even stays there that much. But anyways,
no, because it should be like a whoop and then coming back. Because
exactly.
We're not talking about like the world water levels went up. This is just like a dam
wave.
that was put there.
It's a wave.
A wave. Who built that anger here? If it was just gonna get flooded.
Worst case scenario, you can build the dam back. You can block the water again, the same way they build it, and you can go in there, and then you have access to the 1,000 years fast forward. So that's worth it. It's actually worth it more. I can't believe they went back to the forest to go rebuild.
Dude, oh my god.
I'm like, you have a hangar that's made out of metal. You're gonna build your life with sticks. You have the technology that's right there. He saw the gun. He knows there's guns there. Go get a few weapons.
First thing I said when I saw the tribe the first time was really sticks and stones.
I actually looked it up. It was intentionally that. It's intentionally racial conflict, American slave past, civil rights. And they just made it in.
It is so weak. It's so, oh my god, it's so weak. Oh god, like
a French person wrote it. I mean, I'm just telling you. I'm telling you. Maybe it's maybe he's like hey, I don't know. But it was intentionally. And a lot of stories back then were like that. Is just like Star Trek. A lot of these.
Oh, you're talking about like the first one. You're talking about the first movies, or are you talking
about the structure? The world of Planet of the Apes is the story. The main story is based on they're using monkeys and apes, and not even humans. But
I swear to God, one of her clips is gonna be is Planet of the Apes racist?
No, but it's been reviewed as such before. But I went and I tried to find out like who wrote the first Planet of the Apes, what was the basis of it, what's the plot, what is the comparison? Because we can make this, we can see these things, but was it intentional or not? It was intentional for you to see American slavery and racial conflict and civil rights. That's the inspiration from it, right?
Well, that's the inspiration from it. Okay.
So they show it through a different lens.
Yeah, but I don't think that's remaining now. Like, I don't think right now they're still trying to tell that story.
Of course, but you can't remove some parts of it because the main fear of the colonizer is I'm going to do everything so that you don't gain the power, because if you do, then you're going to punish me. Or you're going to do me as bad as I did you.
Oh, I completely understand that.
So
that part was
you have to understand that story will always be part of Planets of the Apes. As soon as the apes have power, everything changes. And then this is what it is at the end of the day. At the end of the day, when she was like, she'll never trust an ape. It's always going to be humans first because she knows exactly what's going to happen. And this is what she was. They're afraid to show the apes the books about them being in cages before.
Okay, I get that. But you also throw a factor that, okay, apes are getting smarter and humans are getting dumber. So now you kind of canceled out that colonization thing, because now it's just about a species evolving faster than another one while the other one is declining. So now it's not a colonizer versus colonized structure. It's
But you're right. You're
intelligence
right. You're right. Only if.
intelligence factor.
But you're right. Only if.
Yeah,
Only if that tribe of humans that's still intelligent doesn't exist. If they didn't exist, then you're absolutely right. But they're still there, and they still
but
have the
that's what I'm
mentality
saying.
of. But guess what? That girl still wants to go get the guns. That girl still held the gun at the end of the day. That girl's still bringing information back to her people. She's not staying with these people. She's not helping them
Yeah, she's
evolve.
not. But I
And
don't think.
she didn't tell them the truth. She's not telling them the full truth of how things used to be back in the day.
I wouldn't either. I wouldn't either in that situation, because I'm by myself. I'm the lonely human in the middle of all these apes. I wouldn't either. Like, I would
So
not tell.
so it is still humans
It's
first.
anybody first. It's anybody first.
No, it
Listen,
is. You're right, and that's what they're scared of.
if I'm like, if you wanna take the people factor away, right? If you wanna take the race thing and keep it under thing, it's kind of like Mad Max, right? So it's like if you go in a future of Mad Max where you have a bunch of people that don't know the progress that we made before, that don't know literature, that don't know how we got guns and made guns, that don't know how we went into space, whatever. And you get these kind of like bandits, and you make them like fall into a hangar full of like tanks, jets, guns. The destruction that they're gonna have will be crazy. It's literally providing a power level to them that they did not earn. So they're not gonna use it properly. I mean, we earned this power level and we still don't use it properly. So imagine a species that did not earn that, and then you want them. Oh, come on! Like, there's so many better stories there. Make the apes find the hangar. Apes stumble upon this hangar, and then now you get a human trying to see like how the hell we're gonna stop them.
I think, yeah, you're right. That's a more stimulating story.
There's way more similar story than, oh, let's flood the hangar. And surprisingly, by flooding the hangar, you apparently kill all that tribe of monkeys, of apes. Sorry,
Now they
monkeys.
hate you. Now they hate you again. Even more.
Now they hate you again. Subsequently, you did save the good tribe,
Yeah, but
and
you
that's
remember,
fine.
they're still mad at her. They're still mad at her because she
Not
also
really.
had a
Not really.
she had a personal agenda, and she used them. I don't necessarily have to forgive you for that, because guess what? Some of my people died too. Some of my people died too.
They
Like,
were gonna die anyways. They were literally, without her interference, they would have literally stayed slaves. I think your point makes a lot of sense if half their tribe dies. But the end of the movie doesn't say that. The end of the movie says this tribe now is
yeah, but
thriving.
still, they were
I
very
have
fine.
issues. I
They
have
were
so
content.
much issues with that whole village. Why are you building long ass structures that look like they could fall down and somebody just chop the
And they
bottom
burned it down. They burned it
and they
down, and
burn
then
it down? Like,
they
why are you not
built it
living?
again. They burned it down with
They
no
build it again the
technology.
same place.
They
The
burned
same
it down
place.
with regular fire,
You
and
know
now
what
they
the
build it
funniest
back
thing?
again.
But I'm waiting for one of the horses to say, "Here, yo, back off." Like, I'm waiting.
No, for one
I'm
of them to be
waiting.
like, hell no, I'm out.
No, I'm not going there. Y'all just saw what they just did. Like, I'm not going there. Like, what I'm saying is, like, if you go in this movie and never watched Planet of the Apes before, never knew about the regression of the humans, you would think that every animal talks.
Yeah,
Especially
like,
when
hey,
they change,
you'd
because
be like,
you had
why doesn't
chimps,
he talk?
chimpanzees that are like evolved chimpanzees, and you have orangutans, and then you have gorillas. So my question is, does it affect every kind of apes? And probably they explain that to another movie, or does it just affect the entire animal kingdom at this point?
I think they did kind of touch it on a previous movie.
Yeah, on the
I think
previous movie. So
in
yeah,
a
we're not gonna
cage,
go into that.
there was one that was like not speaking yet. Because I think they went back to the lab, and then they were still testing on some that hadn't evolved or something like that.
Yeah, but
But
anyways, I expected the birds to talk. I expected the eagles to talk. I expected the zebras to talk. Like, I just, every time there was another animal in the scene, I was like, say something.
I like how they were so shocked at the zebras. I'm like, you have horses. You can do it. Can't be. It's just a different color. But they
Yeah,
were so shocked.
and I want to ask, like, how dumb are humans getting? Do they know that they need to eat food?
I mean, they were looking very prehistoric, which is kind of bothered me because like
It
they
bothered me. It's
still
like, wait.
but there's still clothes like laying around in places. Like,
So it's like,
unless
if you're
they're
smart enough to make like rags, I'm sorry, if you could sew rags together to to form a bra. I know it's
Exactly.
nitpicking a little bit, but I'm saying like you're not explaining what kind of regression this is. This is
This is
2020 all over again.
a different, yeah, it's a different variant. It's a different variant that causes different things on human beings. It's the first time human beings are getting this virus. So the apes are not studying them. So who's studying maybe that colony?
Yeah, the girl was definitely aware that was it. There was humans regressing. Yeah, yeah.
So you
She
don't
she
know, you
made
don't know, you don't know if
smart.
her colony might have those answers. We're seeing it from the point of view of the apes. They don't have labs. They don't know.
Yeah,
I
but
mean,
what I'm saying from the point of view of the apes, how dumb are the humans? Like, if they know to come out where zebras are to drink water, that is some kind of intelligence. If they're able to put clothes on certain body parts and kind of dress like your typical caveman, then that means you're aware enough of yourself and surrounding. And yeah, it's like I didn't understand that kind of structure and how dumb the humans were. If they're just dumb humans and you just find them in the wild, it's just like eating freaking grass because they don't know the difference between a grass and a fruit. I don't know. Okay, is that then we really should have died way before? Like we should just fade away. But I guess that's basic need and primal instinct. Okay, I guess they just keep their primal instinct. But what about the self-awareness of putting clothes?
overall, Phil, this is probably what you're talking about that they could have delved more into, and they did not.
And did not.
They just showed you. We saw them show up like birds coming to drink some water, and then they were attacked by the preys like crocodiles, and half of them died, or more than
No,
half
they
of
were
them
attacked
died.
by
Actually.
other apes. Yeah, the apes
Yeah,
came
that's what
in
I'm saying. They
and
were.
attacked, yeah.
That's what I'm saying by the predator, and they were attacked, and so they can run away. They can run even in a decent way manner, and then they actually eventually caught almost all of them, besides the girl that escaped technically.
And then the virus affects some humans, but what are other humans like? No, are living in
Um,
peace with
it's
like
it's because of
Proximus
N95
and
masks.
oh
That's
man,
how you protect yourself. That's how you protect yourself,
oh
right?
man. I was watching the movie and I couldn't stop talking in my head. You would think when they rebuild the village, you would see some metal.
Some,
No, some
at least
metal.
like let's say the outside barrier, like at least something.
It's like you told
No,
the story of the three little pigs and the wolf to
yeah,
other three little
and
pigs,
then they
and then
built
they
it
went
and
back and
built the same straw house.
straw and then maybe some wood. Like I'm like, stop, guys. Like you literally see these other structures around you. You're smart enough to construct something. It gets destroyed. What's the lesson learned? So you like, I don't even. That's the thing. It's like I can never tell what's the intelligence of the apes. Is it me? Every time I say monkeys, I feel racist. Versus like the intelligence of the humans. Like you can never know. And I think that was, and they tried to make it seem like Noah was like smarter than other apes, but I didn't really see a clear line.
I don't
Like
think
I
he's
felt like
smarter. I think he was just compared
he
to
stumbled upon the battery thing. Like it's like he understood it a little bit better than just using it. He seems like he's the ape that thinks in the
but
group versus
I think
because you always have because even with a human, not every human is
that's
gonna
what I was
figure
gonna
out how
say.
to.
That's what I was gonna say. It's
Yeah,
like they have that in humans too. So I think he
yeah.
was just like that. He's more curious and more whatever. I mean, it's a hero of a story. So somehow there's this innate thing that made them like more special in processing the world. That's why they come up with the best idea, the better plan, to beat the bad guy at the end. It's like what makes you so special? Well, because I don't know, nobody liked me when I was a kid, and then I learned how to be good by myself. I don't know. It's like what makes you so special?
I don't know. I think overall. So after saying all this, are you still stuck with your 6.5?
Yeah, because this requires for me to judge it more. I'd have to like think about it so much deeper and really rip it apart. If I rip it apart, of course, but if not, I'm like, I didn't.
I think if we're talking about like the structure of a movie, I think it did those parts okay.
And that's what I
I
believe.
think the issues I have with the movie, it's like, why was that the story you cared to tell? And if you cared that much about telling that story, there's a lot of nuances that you just kind of superficially glance
Yeah, you're
over,
right.
right? And so, like, like give it like a six,
I'm okay with
maybe.
a six. I'm okay with a six
I'm
because
not mad with a six,
I
but
could
I
watch
could
it again.
easily put.
I could watch it again, but
That's
like
what I was looking for.
easy watching though, not think about it.
Yeah.
Easy watching, like put it there. So I'm like, okay, yeah. But like, it's not world changing. It's not like this is the best movie ever. I can tell everybody you can wait and watch it on TV. You don't have to go to
Yeah.
the theaters.
My point is, would I rewatch this movie again? See, I'll say this: like 5, 10 years down the line, if I see it pop up, I'm be like, wait, did I really not like this movie, or like, did I really find this movie mid? And watch it again and still be like, really?
That's the thing, though. You can watch it again. You could go through the process of watching it again.
But I don't
It's
want
not
to.
something, but it's not some now, of course, but it's not something that you're gonna be like, oh hell no. There's some movies that I'm like, it gives me a headache to think about. Like,
True.
I'm not watching this. I'm not watching that. Like, I
True.
wouldn't be able to make it past 5 seconds. Here, I'd watch it. I just don't think too much. If I think too much, then I'm like, oh, okay, whatever.
It was such a predictable movie without being predictable at first, like, because
Exactly.
they're gonna go into something way
You
deeper.
think it's going to be complex because there's so many ways they can
You
make
think
it
it's
complex, but the
complex, you
things that
think,
oh
and it's like,
oh that's it.
that's
Oh,
it.
all right, never mind. I thought it was gonna
I'm
be a
still in the
movie, but
I'm still in the belief that these apes should have come back to the hangar, get some freaking thing. Like, even if they didn't grab the guns, get some crates.
they were exposed to the real world for once, and then they came back with nothing.
And
We're
they
gonna
went
stick
back
to
to
the
the,
old ways.
like, they came
It's like,
back with no more knowledge than they left the village. Like, what did the apes learn? Because you got attacked by other apes with barely a little bit more technology than you. The only growth what that happened is maybe to the main character, Noah. He's the only one with a real growth because everybody else kind of stays the same. Maybe the girl has a little growth too. Like, what is her personality? Like, I don't know her personality really. I don't. And that goes for half the apes. Like, I don't really know their personalities and what they're about, except for Proximus. Proximus, I actually like Proximus might be my favorite character.
he's fully developed in a way. You can see his intention. You can see a little bit of like where he comes from. Where he's trying to get. You see that he's actually smarter too, because he did not get overly angry for it's like a bad guy that has reasons why.
But like
And
all his thing is like, I want that power and I want to put apes forward.
remember at
And
the end he said, remember at the end when he opens it, like, you guys can go as long as is there more weapons like this over there?
yeah.
As long as
And I
there's
was
more
like,
weapons,
dude,
you can go.
this guy's awesome. Like, I thought, like, yeah, I was like, you're just here for the advancement of ape kind. And the 5.5 might be just subjective, really, because I have gripes with the movie that the movie did. I feel like the movie was telling me a lot of things that I wanted to do and then never did it. And then give me such a simple story at the end with like such simple characters. Do you have any closing statement?
Again, I agree with 5.5 for this because you're reminding me of every mistake they could have done. I think it's an easy watch, and I'm hoping to save their lives. The next one needs to be like even better, and I have to watch for. They have to explain a lot of things, or at least show a lot of aspects of the world that they haven't.
If you're gonna get me behind an ape, and which was Caesar to a point because you saw Caesar transition from like just a regular ape to being part, and then there was that connection with like James Franco's character, whatever. So you felt a lot for Caesar, but you either gotta make me fall in love with Noah or you gotta give me a human perspective.
I can't wait for another one just because I feel like I get free visuals. I get apes talking and riding horses. I could fighting. That's cool. They look cool. So
the next movie needs to have all the animals talk, and I'm cool with it.
Not gonna happen. They need horses.
Mo, always a pleasure. Where can they find you?
Always. Find me at Retro Real anytime, or at Mo Volsi.
All right, on Instagram. Same here. Retro Real. Leave comments. Subscribe. Like the video if you liked it. Don't like the video if you didn't like it, but like it anyways. But anyways, you can find me also at Philosoph with a 0 at the end on Instagram. Links below. Deuces.
Peace.